Hey guys. All right, so this is your last assignment before the quiz slash finals. Ooh. I'm gonna go through every other problem. So I'll go through like A, I'll go through C, but I'm not gonna do B and D. That's something that you need to do on your own. Okay. So let's go ahead, check this out. For A, I am adding the polynomials. So all that I have to do is basically put together the like terms. The like terms have the same exponents. So I could put these two together. 2 plus 7 is 9, so that'll be 9x squared. I can then put together the minus 6x and the minus 1x. Together, that makes minus 7x. And finally, I can put together my constants. Positive 5 minus 9 is minus 4. And that's your final answer. All right. For C, the difference here is that it's a difference problem. So what that means is I basically need to make each one of the things in the second set of parentheses flip the sign. So that's going to be negative 5x to the third minus 7x squared plus 3x. You notice how it turns into a plus instead of minus, and plus 9. The first guy stays the same. Now I can simply combine like terms. Here's an x to the third, here's an x to the third. Notice that I included the sign. 3 minus 5 is negative 2x to the third. All right, here's my x squared, here's another x squared. 8 minus 7 is 1, so that's going to be plus 1x squared, or you didn't even need the 1 there. It's optional. All right, here is my regular x. Here is a regular x. This is a negative 1x. That's a positive 3. Together, that's positive 2x. And then lastly, we'll do pink. I've got minus 4 and plus 9. Together, that'll make plus 5. Here's your final answer. Pause the video and do problem D. All right, moving on to 2. Again, I'm going to do A and you do B. I'll do C and you do D. So I am going to use the double distribution here. So 3t times 2t is 6t squared. 3t times positive 3 is positive 9t. Negative 2 times 2t is negative 4t. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And then I'm going to combine my like term, which is these two. That's going to turn into positive 5t. And the other two terms just get carried down. There we go. Try problem B. Now, you did not have to do double distribution if you didn't want to. You could have done the box method instead. So I'll do C in the box method. Again, the distribution works great. The box method worked great, whichever one you prefer. I'm putting my 3 terms up top simply because I made 3 rows here. If you want to include the signs, do that. All right, and then 2x. I'm going to have to include the negative sign with the 1 because it was minus 1. All right, 2x squared times 2x is 2x to the third. X squared times negative 1 is negative 1x squared. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. 2x times 2 is 4x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. All right, now I can start combining. There's nothing to combine with that, guys, so it's just 2x to the third. I can combine these two guys together to get plus 3x to the square. All right, I can combine these two guys together to get plus 2x. And then I have this guy chilling at the end. There we go. All right, pause the video and do problem D. All right, next step. We are going to be doing synthetic division. Remember with synthetic division, it's nice to have coefficients, so I'm drawing them in. There's no missing spots, so I'm ready to go and draw out my synthetic division. So that's going to be 1, 1, negative 17, negative 15. For your outside number, remember to flip this sign. So it's going to be positive 5. All right. Bring this guy down to be 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Add these two up to get 6. 5 times 6 is 30. Add these two together to get 13. 5 times 13 is 65, I believe. Add them together, and we get 50. Remember that the first term is going to be your remainder. I need to put a sign in the middle, otherwise it's not going to be a correct answer. The 13 is just a constant, so no coefficient. Or sorry, no variable. The x will go with the 6, and the x squared will go with the 1. To make this look just a little bit nicer, your final answer is going to be x squared plus 6x plus 13 plus 50 over x minus 3. Final answer. All right, moving on. Go ahead, try problem B on your own. All right, problem 4. So we are looking at factoring. Remember that you can use the MAM idea to factor, so we need to figure out what two numbers multiply out to x squared. Well, that'd obviously be x times x. Now, I need to come up with some numbers that multiply out to 9. So that could be 1 and 9, 3 and 3. Can I combine either of these to make negative 6? Yes, I could. I could make this negative 3 and negative 3 to make it negative 6. And here we go. There's your final answer. If you want to be extra fancy, you could have written your answer as x minus 3 squared because there's 2 of them. That's just getting kind of fancy. All right, try problem B now. Moving on to 5. GCF, remember that is the greatest common factor. So that means what can divide all 3 of these terms nicely? I notice right away that there's an x in each one of them. So that means I could take out an x. I also want to look to see if there's a number that can nicely divide 3, 1, and 2. Well, the only number that I can think of would be 1, so that doesn't do me a lot of good. So I'm just going to take an x out of each one of them. If I take 1x away from the 3x to the third, that's going to be 3x squared. Notice that my exponent just went down by 1. All right, if I take an x out of this guy, it's just going to be 1x. If I take an x out of this guy, it's just going to be negative 2. And there we go. All right, moving on. We are solving. So what I would do here for problem A, oh, by the way, remember, do problem B. I'll give you a hint. GCF has both a number and a letter here. Row 4B. Okay. Okay, so for 6A, I first noticed that there's this 6. How can I get rid of the 6 that's being 6 times x squared? I could divide by 6 on both sides to get x squared equals 25. How do I get rid of a square now? Well, I square root. Square root means what number times itself gives you 25. Well, I know that 5 could work. Positive 5 or negative 5 works. Could think about it. Negative 5 times negative 5, yeah, that would be 25. So there's my answer. For problem B, do the same thing. You will have 2 answers. All right, moving on to 7A. I am solving this guy. What I'm going to do is solve this by factoring. So I'm going to use, before I really start to factor or use my MAM, do you see how all of these have an x with it? Well, I'm going to bring out an x first. So that's going to be x squared minus x minus 12. Okay, now I'm going to use my MAM. So let's see here. I'd have an x and an x to get x squared. To multiply out to 12, I could do 1 and 12, 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. Is there any way that I could use these numbers to combine to -1? Yeah, I could do this. And I could make the 4 the negative, because 3 plus -4 is -1. I still have that x from before chilling right here, and it's still equal to 0. Now, I'm basically going to set each of these parentheses equal to 0. This guy technically is in a parentheses by itself. So the first step could be x equals 0. Well, cool. That's an answer. My next one, I could have x plus 3 equals 0. That looks like a z. Let me fix that. So I could subtract 3 on both sides to get x equals -3. And finally, x minus 4 is equal to 0. Add 4 to both sides, and I have x equals 4. So these are my 3 answers. For problem B, you could have up to 3 answers. All right, last one. All right, for the last one that I'm going to do with you, 8A. So I am evaluating when x is 2. So all I'm going to do is plug this number in for x. So that's going to be 2 to the third power minus 2 times 2 to the second power plus 4 times 2 plus 3. All right, 2 to the third power, 2 times 2 times 2 is not 6, it's 8. My next step, I still have that minus 2, but I will go ahead and take care of this exponent. 2 squared is 4. All right, now I could go ahead and do this part because there's nothing else to do with the 2 and the 4. So that's going to turn to plus 8. And then I have that plus 3 still chilling. All right, next step, I could go ahead and multiply minus 2 times 4, which is going to be -8. Copy the rest down. That's a lot of 8s. All right, and now just combine everything. 8 minus 8 is 0. Plus 8 is 8. Plus 3 is going to be 11. Do the same thing over here for B. Make sure you keep the negative sign with the 4. That's going to be a tricky part. Good luck.